This is the Board of Adjustment. We're meeting on November 29th of 2023. Welcome to the City of Tempe Adjustment Meeting. The City of Tempe Board of Adjustment is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe zoning ordinance. Its function is to grant relief where literal enforcement of the zoning ordinance would result in unnecessary property hardship. We also interpret provisions of the zoning ordinances and variances and hear appeals from any person or city official aggrieved by a decision at the planning, through the planning. I've lost my spot. Hang on here. And hear appeals from any person or city official aggrieved the decision of a person responsible for the enforcement of the zoning ordinance, which is the zoning administrator or hearing officer abatements. The board has the City of Tempe Community Development staff summary reports in front of us. We've reviewed those, and those will be considered at this particular meeting. If there's anybody from the audience that's here to speak to the board, please fill out a speaker request form. It's located up here on the front of the dais, and submit that to staff. I'm going to do staff introductions. We have Jeff Tamilevich, the Director for Community Development, Ryan Leviscu, Deputy Director of Community Development, Drew Yoakum, Deputy Director of Community Enforcement. We have Jack Schofield, Senior Code Inspector, Michelle Dalkey, Principal Planner. Welcome. This is your second meeting, correct?
My first official meeting, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have Jennifer Daniels also joining us from staff, and then we have Jason Wolf with media. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We're going to do roll call now. I'm going to start with, we have one online board member today. Board Member Siegel, if you can start with the roll call, and then we'll go with Dr. Miller across the front of the dais here.
Good evening, Board Member Siegel present.
Thank you.
Robert Miller, present.
Kaylee Palmer, present.
My name is Jack Confer.
Ron Kagi, present.
Kevin Morrow, present.
Very good. Thank you very much. We have a quorum, and we can go ahead and start with the meeting. It looks like we had a couple of people come in here a little late. We'll start with approval of minutes from September 27th of 2023. Can I have a motion and a second if there's no changes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Any nays?
No, I'd abstain as not being present for that meeting.
Thank you, Board Member Siegel. So noted.
I'll also abstain as I was also not present.
Okay, we have 4-2 with 2 abstentions. It still passes. Thank you. Number 7, let's see. The agenda item that we have tonight. Let's go ahead and go with staff announcements for right now. Is there any staff announcements while I get my agenda up here?
Mr. Vice Chairman and members of the board, we have no announcements at the outset of the meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much. We had somebody walk in here. Would you happen to be the appellant tonight?
I am Jordan, Aaron Jordan.
Mr. Jordan, can you fill out a speaker slip? Oh, you don't need to? Okay, very good. Thank you for announcing your presence. I appreciate that. Move on to the agenda. We did the minutes, and the first item on the agenda is request to appeal the hearing officer's October 3rd, 2023 decision to approve an abatement request for the Jordan residence, which is located at 1930 East Minton Drive. The appellant in this case is Aaron Jordan. If we can have the appellant go first and present your appeal, the reasons for the appeal, and the reasons why you believe that relief should be granted.
I'm sorry, I should have put together a presentation. I did not. I'm just kind of winging it here, going to go off the top of my head. They had the meeting for the abatement, and we were aware of the situation. We were actually watching for it, and it didn't seem to have posted to the website. We missed the actual time and the date. We were watching for it, and we know when the hearing officer meets at this point, and we didn't see a meeting was posted that they were going to be meeting on it. So we probably would have been at that if we did see that, but we didn't see when it was posted. My fiance was actually checking like daily to see, and I don't know what we missed or if they just didn't post it. But we didn't know about the meeting, so we didn't get to the hearing to be able to state our case. I spoke with Officer Rich on the phone and told him what was going on, spoke to him about the situation. We've actually been through the abatement process once already. It was 180 days. They came out to the house 3 times. They put a lien on my house for like $18,000 for the cleanup. My fiance, she inherited, to say, items from her father, who tragically passed away, and she went through trauma from this, and we were dealing with this. She was dealing with it. She was seeking counsel for it. The code inspectors were aware of this. We told them. I begged them to give me some more time. In the first case, I didn't take it as serious as I probably should have. I didn't know like the ramifications of it. I work night shift. I'm in healthcare. I don't check my mail regularly. It's hard for me to even contact people on a normal basis, let alone dealing with something like this. So I didn't really take it seriously. I didn't know I had to be doing what she wanted me to be doing, basically. So we had some stuff build up, and granted, it got a little out of control there for a little bit, and they came in and did the abatement. Now, when they came in and did the abatement process, it was very odd because, they walked around and they picked and choose what they were going to take and what they weren't going to take. And they took lots of things with value. And she quoted the law that she was taking litter, trash, and debris when, in fact, the stuff that she was taking wasn't litter, trash, and debris. And this is from the case before. This isn't the current case that I'm talking about. So it was very concerning to watch. She literally walked around my property like she was shopping. And she came into my backyard. She said to lock up the dogs or they would be shot, basically. It was just very, very concerning, very upsetting on what was going on. And
Mr. Jordan, can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're clear. You're talking about the first abatement, which has already happened?
Yes. And I'm kind of leading up to the second one, because it seems like they tie some of this stuff in to both cases. We literally just ended and they closed our last one.
Okay.
And 3 weeks later, I've got the other inspector looking over my back wall.
Okay. Let me clarify why I brought that up. I would like you to focus on this particular appeal
Okay.
for this particular abatement.
Okay.
I understand you've gone through it before, but we're going to be reviewing the facts of this one.
I got you.
We can't go back to the other one.
Okay.
So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, I
Thank you.
understand. I'm looking at this email that I received for this process, and it actually includes documentation from the previous inspector and the things that happened on the last one. So I didn't know which ones were going to be what if they're using the stuff from that one for this one. So basically, what happened is apparently he looked over my wall, and there was just a storm. I have a saltwater pool. It's an above ground pool. It's very difficult to battle after the storm. Whatever flies into the pool, the algae builds up and it happens very fast and it's hard to combat, basically. So it was like 2 days after the storm, and this started to show signs of greening up and browning up, and I've been battling this thing for like 2 weeks as it was. That's what happened with the pool. Since then, it's been drained. It's wintertime. I'm going to start over fresh for summertime, so the pool was taken care of. As far as the trailer goes, the other thing that I was hit on was I was actively moving stuff and unloading from the trailer. I had actually just picked up some carpet and was unloading and loading, and I have storage units that I put stuff in. That was, I had a hard time understanding their setback, the setback code, that you can only have a trailer so many feet from the property line, I think it is. I think it's 21 feet. So the trailer was actually in my driveway for me to unload stuff, and it was in the front yard setback. I'm having a hard time understanding the setbacks, how far away things have to be from the walls and from the property line. So those were the two things. So not to bring up the previous case, but we're trying to organize stuff and get things situated. And we have laundry, like tons of laundry. We have 5 kids. We actually have 6 kids, 2 of them just moved out, so it's actually helping a lot that we have less laundry to do. But we have all this laundry to do, and we're trying to get on top of it. We're buried in it. My fiance works with a place called Maggie's Place, where they help out women in need. We would like to donate some of that laundry to them. There's lots of clothes that we could donate to people, and she wants to do a yard sale also, so we could sell some of the laundry and get some funds from it. So she is trying to organize it. And at the time that he peeked over the wall, the pictures that we saw was he was taking pictures of the laundry that was in the back. We don't know how to get on top of stuff if every time we move something, somebody's calling code compliance on us and reporting us for something. It's very hard to do. So at this point, I feel like the neighbors are watching us, and anytime that something goes wrong that they don't like, they call. And an example would be, it seems like when the code compliance officer came by, my neighbor next door, who doesn't like us for some reason and has moved out at this point, came over to his house. 5 minutes after he showed up to his house, the code compliance guy comes and drives by, and I get the citations for it. So it seems like I'm being reported anytime I have a trailer in the wrong spot, I've got laundry in the wrong spot, I've got a storage box on the front lawn that's been there for a day. I mean, it's hard to keep up with this stuff. I'm doing the best that I can. I called him, I talked to him, I asked him, I told him that we need more time, we're working on these things, and the next thing I know, they're having a meeting with the hearing officer and granting an abatement again.
And you're referring to the hearing that was on October,
Yes, the most recent one, yes.
what day was that?
October 3rd.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Do we want to ask questions, or do we want to hear the staff presentation first and then open it up to questions? What's the pleasure of the
I'm
board?
sorry, can I just add one thing?
Sure.
I did get a dumpster, a big green dumpster, and we filled that dumpster up with stuff. I just had it taken away like a week ago. I actually have another one coming out, and we're working on this. We're going to fill that dumpster, and we should be good to go on this. We are working on it. It's not like we're just refusing to work on it or anything. We're diligently working on it. I work in healthcare. I work night shift. So we mix my schedule with my fiance. She was in a car accident, so she can't do any heavy lifting. So we are working on it. It's not like I'm just being negligent and refusing to work on it. And we'll get there too. It just takes a little bit of time. So
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else that
No.
you would like to add right now? Very good. What's the pleasure of the board? Yes, sir.
I have at least one question for the applicant. If I remember from the packet, the pool is no longer green. Is it drained or is it?
no, it's
full of
it's
water?
drained. There's
Okay.
no water in it at all. So it's winter time. I'm gonna wait until next season and go at it again. Saltwater, it's a whole different thing. It's a science. It's chemistry, and getting the right amount of salt and everything. You make the wrong mistake, and boom, it turns green on you. So I've had it happen like 4 times, and when I do, I tackle it, and if I have to, I drain it and I start it all over again. So yeah.
And you don't have any unregistered or inoperable vehicles on the property anymore?
No, I don't. No, the one vehicle was actually inherited. It was my fiance's mom's car. It's a classic car, and it was not registered and it was not insured. It is now insured and registered and legal, and it is in running condition. It doesn't look pretty, but it is in running condition, absolutely. So yeah, and I have it insured and it's fully legal. So. And I also have my 1965 Mustang that's sitting out front, running, insured, registered, all legal. So
Thank you. Any other questions, Board Member Morrow? Board Member Kiki?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Jordan, I'm looking at your appeal here, and several places The first statement says was not giving notification, and then the last sentence was not given notice that the hearing officer was having a meeting or that a decision was made. I'm looking at a notice to intent to abate public nuisance dated August 31st, addressed to you. Can you comment on how I'm looking at the notice? And
I got the notification after the fact, after they had the hearing officer meeting, and then I got a notification from him. The notification before that said that if we did not clean it up, there would be a reinspection and that he would take it in front of the hearing officers, in front of them. I didn't get any notification that they were actually going to have the meeting.
so this notice that's dated August 31st,
Right, okay. What does it say on there as far as the meeting?
it says, the office will submit the complaint to the Community Development Abatement Hearing Officer located at the City Council chambers for October 3rd, 2023.
Okay, if it wasn't brought up to code, is that what it's saying?
No, it says it's going to go to the hearing officer on that date, period.
I don't know if I got that notification.
Thank you.
So we've, as far as, oh, I'm sorry.
Hang on a second. Board Member Miller, do you have anything?
Not at this time.
Okay, Board Member Palmer?
Not the same.
And Board Member Siegel, do you have any questions?
I do. Mr. Jordan, when did you drain the pool?
What's
If
that?
you know.
I'm sorry.
When did you drain the pool? Oh,
The question was, when did you drain the pool?
I don't know the exact date. It was after, it was after I got notice that something had to be done with it, even though I was actively doing something with it. I wasn't able to, I drained the pool after the fact because I was having trouble getting the green out of it.
Okay.
So I don't like to put chemicals in the pool because I have the kids that swim in the pool. So I wasn't going to shock it or anything like that. So I did it after I got notification from him that something needed to be done with the pool. So
Thank you.
are you able to give an approximation as to when?
no, it was probably a few days after, or maybe a week after I got the notification from the code inspector that I needed to do something about it. Whenever he issued me the violation. So whatever that date was on the paper.
Board Member Siegel, maybe we can ask staff that question after their presentation. They may have updated photos and so forth.
Okay.
Just a suggestion.
I have the stuff pulled up here from the email that I got. I'm sure the date's in here when he actually gave me the citation or whatever you would call it that said that the pool is a problem. And I spoke with him and then drained the pool after that. So it was a short time after that.
Very good, very good. Board Member Siegel, anything else for the
No.
appellant? Very good. Sir, thank you. We're going to have staff give their presentation. We may have some more questions for you after that.
Oh, yep. Good evening, Chair, members of the Board of Adjustment. My name is Chris Jasper. I'm a senior planner here with the City of Tempe. Happy to join you tonight. I'll be presenting this item. What we have before you is an appeal of the October 3rd, 2023 hearing officer's decision to approve a 180-day abatement of a public nuisance items at 1930 East Minton Drive. The appellant in this case is Aaron Jordan, property owner, who you heard from prior to my presentation. So I'll provide a quick overview of the information that was provided to the hearing officer at that October 3rd, 2023 hearing officer meeting. David Rich, code inspector, provided the overview at that time. He requested the 180-day open abatement period for the property. He had noted at that time that the city had received 8 complaints regarding the status of the property. The case was initiated on October 18th of 2022 due to some complaints that were submitted to the city. The property was inspected and violations were found for junk, trash, and debris in the front and side yards and rear of the property, vehicle parking in the front yard, deteriorated landscaping, and unregistered inoperable vehicles were present on the property. A violation notice was provided to the property owner on the same day. On November 1st of the same year, the property was inspected, the trailer had been moved, but other violations were present, and a final notice was provided to the property owner at that time. The property was re-inspected approximately 2 weeks later on the 17th. Violations remained, and a second final notice was provided to the property owner. On December 5th, a citation was issued, and the property owner has not paid that citation, which has gone to collections. On January 4th of 2023, a notice to abate was mailed to the homeowner and posted to the property. On the 6th, final notice was provided related to the trailer located in the front yard setback. On February 7th of 2023, the abatement hearing was heard at the hearing officer's meeting, and that abatement request was approved for the removal of junk, trash, and debris, and for the removal of unregistered, inoperable vehicles. The property owner was not in attendance at that hearing officer's meeting and did not appeal that decision. Abatements took place on March 7th and 8th, May 30th, and July 27th of 2023. So there were several cleanups conducted to remove the junk, trash, and debris. On August 25th of 2023, another citation was issued for junk, trash, and debris on the property, as well as a trailer in the front yard setback and for a habitual offender. On August 31st, the city issued a notice of intent to abate, which included information about the hearing officer's meeting on October 3rd. There was a court date for that August 25th citation on October 2nd of 2023, at which the property owner failed to appear, and the citation was sent to collections. On October 3rd, 2023, the hearing officer meeting took place, at which time the abatement was approved. So some information that was provided at that meeting, the inspector, David Rich, presented photos taken earlier in that same day, showcasing the violations that were present on the property. Those are included in your agenda packet on pages 51 through 58 in the attachments. The property owner did not appear at the hearing officer meeting, and there were no comments from the public regarding the case. At the time, the hearing officer approved the 180-day abatement request for the case. The appellant stated that they were not properly notified of the abatement hearing, so I provided a bit of information about some of the notification procedures that the city utilizes for any intent to abate. So the city issues, or any notice is deemed proper and complete with any of the four following methods, whether they're delivered in person to the owner, occupant, manager, etc., whether it's posted on or about the entrance of the property where the violation occurred, or by first-class mail, postage prepaid, addressed to the owner, occupant, etc., at the last known address. Service by mail is deemed complete upon deposit in the U.S. mail. I highlighted and bolded that section for emphasis, as that is the notification procedure utilized in this instance, and it is contained within your agenda packet, the notice that was provided to the appellant. So final note from staff, the notice was mailed to the appellant consistent with the regulations stated in the city code. This concludes my presentation. Quick reminder that the case before you is a decision to either uphold or reverse the hearing officer's decision based on the information provided at that meeting. If there are any questions regarding the case or any of the facts related to the case, we also have with us today Drew Yoakum with our Community Enhancement Division, as well as Inspector Schofield, who is familiar with the case. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. One of the things that came up during the appellant's discussion was status of the property as of today, whether the pool's drained. Has anything else changed since October 3rd that staff is aware of that the board should be apprised of? Thank you.
Yes. Good evening, Chair Confer and board members. My name is Drew Yoakum, the Community Enhancement Deputy Director. Yes, the pool was taken care of. The hearing officer actually made a decision on violation of items stored on the exterior of the property outside of an enclosed area. And that is what the request was to have that cleaned up. So the pool is not part of today's case.
Thank you. Is it just the front or just the back or both?
So the request was actually for both because there's been items stored in both the front and back throughout the course of this case.
Great. Thank you, sir. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Board Member Key.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify from the presentation, we have multiple citations, all unpaid at this point, several abatements as well. I'm assuming liens have been placed on the property for those as well. I have the real question I actually have is, on the note on the staff report for June 1, 2023, it says abatement conducted to bring the property into compliance. Owner interfered and prevented the abatement from being completed. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so there's been a couple of abatement attempts throughout the course of this case to bring it into compliance. And there were a few occasions where there was interference by the property owner or members on site, preventing contractors by the city of Tempe to complete the work. Because of this scenario, we decided to pull back and reattempt an abatement at a later date. And that is the reason why we had several abatement attempts.
Thank you.
Board Member Morrow.
So in the timeline, the last abatement was in July of this year. Was the property brought into compliance after that abatement?
Yes, so on July 27th was the third attempt at the abatement, which was successful. So the property was brought into compliance. And then it was on August 25th, a few weeks later, about a month later, we received another complaint for these same items, same type of materials stored in the backyard again. So we re-inspected the property, found the violation had reoccurred. So we continued the case from where it left off. We ended up issuing a notice of intent to abate then a few days later on August 31st, which then proceeded to the hearing officer, which brought us here today.
So, and if I could boil it down, in July, there wasn't a lot of junk on the property, and then in August, there was junk on the property, and there was a new citation.
Yeah, so there was actually quite a bit on July. We cleaned it up and then brought it into compliance. And then within the following month, when we received a complaint, we went back out there and discovered that there were more items again.
Completely different question. When the abatement is for items not stored in an enclosed area, and I sort of keyed in on the phrase enclosed area, does that include the enclosed carport on the property that seems to be semi-enclosed with curtains and plywood? I'm assuming the items stored in that area are not included in the abatement.
That is correct. So it depends on the scenario. So an enclosed area could be in a carport as long as it's not visible from public right of way. But in the backyard, obviously, if there were a shed or a structure to keep the items in, it would be allowed. But in this instance, they were outside of an enclosed area. They were out open to the public air, if you will.
I think that's it.
Good. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm looking through the photos that you've provided, and for example, on page 58, you have a date of 10/3/23, time of 8:18 a.m. The following three photos do not appear to have dates or times. Were those taken at the same time? Because they're pictures of the backyard, I believe. And the page 59 is a front yard view.
Yeah, and I appreciate the question. So the photos without the dates were part of the case leading up to the hearing officer meeting. The photos that are actually dated with a timestamp of 10/3 were the photos taken the morning of the hearing officer meeting.
Do you have a rough date of when those photos were taken?
Yes, so those photos were taken, and I apologize, let me grab my timeline here. Those photos were taken on August 25th at the time of the second citation for the items not enclosed or stored in not an enclosed area.
And one final question. Are they representative of the current state of the backyard?
I believe there have been some minor improvements, but there are still quite a few items that need to be addressed in both the front and backyard.
So, okay, and then just going honing in on that for a moment. There's a metal shed that appears on the page 61 photo. I'm not sure what the page 60 photo, what those structures appear to be somewhat temporary. And then there looks like another accessory structure on page 61 and also reflective on page 62. Are those still present? And those would be, I suppose, part of the abatement would be removing those?
So the abatement would just be for the items that are stored outside of the enclosed area, not included of the structures at this time. And if it were part of our case, it wouldn't be something that we would abate anyways, because it's not something that we can remove.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very good. Board Member Siegel or Board Member Palmer, do you have questions?
I do not.
Thank you very much. Please, Board Member Morrow.
Different question for, I think for you. The meetings of the hearing officer, those are public meetings and we post the agenda ahead of time, I'm assuming.
Yes, that is correct. So we actually notify the property owner 30 days prior to the hearing officer meeting, which was in that notice of intent to abate. We also publicize it on the community development website 2 weeks prior to the meeting. And we also post it on the city clerk's website 2 weeks prior to the meeting. And we post it outside of the hearing officer location, which in this case would have been the city council room that we're in today.
Thank you.
Very good. Any further questions? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think normal process is that we have the appellant rebut what he's heard from staff or add anything else to his appeal. If we could have Appellant Jordan come up, and if you would like to add anything else to your appeal or address any of the items that staff brought up.
I mean, not really. Like I said, it's hard to keep up with all of this stuff. You know, I work, like I said, I work night shift in healthcare. It gets busy. We have the kids. Notifications I don't see all the notifications. So, I mean, bottom line, I'm working on it and we're making progress and we're going in the right direction. We're not being negligent and we're not refusing to work on the things. We're working on it and we're going to get there with it. So we don't necessarily need the city to come in and do what they're doing when we can handle it ourselves, basically. So.
And I think you testified earlier that you've already had one dumpster out there.
I've got another one coming out in the next couple of days. So.
Okay, very good. Anybody have any other questions for the appellant? Hearing none. Oh, please.
How did more stuff get on the property between July and August?
Well, so the original round that we went through with the abatement, I got storage units to store things in. I was unemployed for some amount of time, and we were going to start a business. My wife wants to start a business. She likes to redo furniture. She likes to redo and refurbish furniture to sell. I didn't realize I wasn't allowed to store furniture at the property, so I literally have 4 storage units with all stuff. We have to go through stuff, we have to organize stuff, we have to put stuff in different places. So, and same thing, the original inspector told me that if I have sheds on the property, if it's out of sight, then it's fine. And so I went and got a couple sheds, and I have the sheds there. But we have to pull stuff out, and we have to reorganize, and the laundry we have to reorganize, we have to pull it out to be able to go through it. It's hard to go through when it's all packed into one small little place. So we have to pull this stuff out, and in turns it kind of gets scattered a little bit when we're going through it. Then we can put it back into its place, find a home for everything. So that's part of the process. We're working on it. It's not that we're acquiring more stuff. We have the stuff, it's tucked away, and we got to go through it. So it's just, that's the process we're going through. So we're getting rid of stuff in the process. We're going through it, finding out what we're going to keep, what we're going to get rid of. And it just takes a little bit of time, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I have one quick question to staff, I'm not sure who to ask. Can somebody remind me the timeframes that happen after our decision, whatever it is tonight? If the board were to deny the abatement, I'd like to know the time frame of when the abatement would happen. And if we were to approve the appeal, is there a time frame? Does it get remanded back to the hearing officer? Or if we approve does the abatement process start all over from square one? So can you just give me a little information on how that would work, please, and the timeframes?
Yeah, so there's thank you, Chair, members of the board. An approval of the appeal, my understanding is it would essentially restart the abatement request process. So the property would need to be renoticed and then proceed to another hearing officer's meeting and decision.
And if I may, that is a requirement for a 30-day notification. So it would be a minimum of 30 days prior to a new hearing meeting that can be scheduled. And obviously, those meetings only take place twice a month when available, so it may even be longer than that.
Okay. And if the board were to deny the appeal, what kind of time frame would Appellant Jordan be looking at for any type of abatement? And if he were to get another dumpster and make it the property suitable before the contractor shows up, what effect, if any, would that have on the abatement?
Yes, so thank you, Chair, and board members. The abatement would only take place if the violations were still persistent. If the abatement were to be allowed to go forward after tonight's meeting, it would still be reviewed by our city staff, and we would have to coordinate with city-approved contractors to schedule a time. Typically, we would be looking about at least a week out. During that course of time, if progress is made, city staff has the ability to work with the property owner and make a decision if extension should be made or not. But typically, if we were to move forward, it'd be about a week from today.
Thank you. Does anybody have any follow-up questions on any of that? Please.
Maybe not exactly on that, but I just want to clarify, actually for my fellow board members, we're charged with determining whether or not the hearing officer made any material error in their decision on this abatement, regardless of all the other facts that we were hearing about or the what-ifs, et cetera. So while I appreciate that, things can be made, progress could be made down the road, I don't see that there has been a error in the hearing officer's decision in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up question. When I originally reviewed the materials, I was concerned about the notice, the appeals based upon the notice. I dug into it a little further. I understand the city code. Who actually sent the letters out?
So the notifications are issued by the code compliance inspector assigned to the case.
Okay.
So they generate the notices themselves, write it up, and then send it off into the mail.
Is it possible that they didn't get mailed?
I mean, it is possible, but according to the city code, it is deemed delivered upon issuance to the postal service. And so from our standpoint, it was delivered by us.
And that's what I was looking for in the materials. I was looking proof that they were mailed. And I understand the process. It's obvious that this has been going on for a long time. That was my only concern with the notice and this particular appeal. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and Chair, if I may, the notice was issued in the same manner that every other notice and determination letter was issued, and the determination letter has the same info about the appeal process as well.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you both. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Dr. Miller?
Just a question about the process. If in fact this appeal is granted, and then you said the hearing process starts again, would that hearing consider the same facts that were before the hearing officer that generated the notice of abatement this time that we're hearing now?
No, thank you, Chair and board members. So if this were to be restarted, if the process were to be restarted, it would have to be from the day of, let's say, tomorrow. And so if the violations persist tomorrow, we would send an intent of a notice to abate for a hearing officer meeting based off what we find tomorrow.
So then it would essentially start the entire process over again from finding fact to actual decision of a hearing officer.
That would be correct.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Very
I
much
have a
appreciate it.
quick question, Chairman Conver.
Sorry. Board Member Siegel.
Thank you. Staff, can you answer? So I noticed that some of the notices were mailed and emailed, and then others were just mailed. And I just want to clarify that because you said that all notices had been delivered in the same manner each time. So is that a typo, or were they all emailed as well?
No, and I appreciate the question. So when I say they were all delivered in the same manner, they were all delivered by U.S. first-class mail with a request for return if they were not to be delivered by the U.S. Postal Service. None of the mail came back. None of it was returned from the start of the case in 2022 until today.
And had there been communication with Mr. Jordan or any of his family members since the August 25th citation?
Yes, so actually, after the August 25th citation, we did have a phone call with the homeowner on September 12th. He did advise us he was cleaning up the pool at that time, which is why it was not a part of our case. We discussed the violations that still remain, the items that still needed to be cleared. Proceeding with that, we checked the property again a couple weeks later. The violation was still persistent based off of what we had discussed on the phone as well as identified in the violation notices. There was a court date that was scheduled. The property owner failed to appear to that, so no discussion was held there. And then notification after that court date was issued for the notice of intent to abate, which outlined the date of the hearing officer meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything further, Board Member Siegel?
No, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to try again. Thank you both, gentlemen, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's going to close our deliberations and our presentations for this particular matter. I'm going to open up to the board for a motion, if we are ready to make a motion, or any discussion. Yes, sir.
Do we need to make a call to the audience?
For call to public?
Yeah, I don't think we got it.
Not till the end of the meeting, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, you mean if there's anybody else here to talk? I apologize. Is there anybody else here that wishes to address the board on this particular matter? Sir, you're welcome to address the board. Can you fill out a speaker form, please? Thank you very much. Good call. Thank you very much. And if you can just state your name and city of address for the record, I would appreciate it.
All right. My name's Francisco Nahar, and the address is 1930 Eastman Drive. I wanted to just say, like they're trying. They are. I've known the family for about 4 years. I'm with Melissa's daughter. Countless times, I understand they come out and they do what they have to do. Everybody has a job to do at the end of the day. I used to help out doing this. Like he did say, his daughter moved out. We moved out. I used to be there every day. I used to help out, throw stuff away, make sure stuff was getting done. And we were on top of it always. And we were there last night to go visit her mom, and they were pretty much little conversations. They were cleaning. They're trying. Her mom did get in a car accident that set her back a little while. And well, Aaron, if you want to work a 12-hour shift and clean up after, that's got to be something. I understand that the family is really trying, and we're just looking for a little bit of time. That's really all.
Very good. It was Francisco, correct? Thank you very much for your testimony. Anything else you would like to add?
Not this time.
Thank you, sir. Last call for anybody else that wants to address the board on this particular matter.
Can I say one more thing?
Wait,
Was that close?
hang on a second, sir. Please. Do you have something that's short, succinct, and quick? Please.
I just wanted to address the citations that I received and the court date that happened that I missed. I did not miss that court date. I actually worked the night before, and I worked night shift, and I hurried over there as quick as possible to get to that court date. The parking over here is terrible, and the machine that takes the dollar bills and the credit card to pay for the parking, there was somebody that was having problems in front of me, and I got in at 8:20. That's when I showed up to the court. The only person that was in the court was the clerk of the court. I talked to her about it, and that's when I filed an appeal for that decision because I didn't make it. And I was denied that appeal.
We appreciate knowing that. That's not really part of our review.
I know, but it's a character thing, and I just kind of wanted you to know, I'm trying to stay on top of all of this stuff among having a busy life, doing the things we got to do with the kids and getting to work every day.
And I want you to know that this board is looking at the facts of this case.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
know.
looking at you, your character, what you're trying to do, what you did do. We're looking at the facts and trying to decide whether or not to grant your appeal.
Gotcha.
Or ultimately deny it. So thank you very much for that testimony.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes, can you state your name and?
My name is Faith Erickson. I live at 1930 East Minton Drive.
Thank you very much.
I'm Melissa's daughter. Before all of this happened, I just want to say my mom had OCD like crazy. Like when we were growing up, if we spilt something on the floor, my mom would look at us with like that like mom crazy eye. I don't know. You guys know that mom crazy eye. The mom crazy eye. And last year on Christmas, my grandfather died. He was murdered, and my mom had to take on the thing of being pregnant and dealing with the fact that her dad had just died. I don't think I ever saw my mom as heartbroken as she was. And we're just asking for a little more time so we can get it done. And we can do this because my mom and my dad are amazing people. And they deserve the world. And what happened was not right. Maybe my mom, we gave her shit about taking all of that in. Oops, sorry, my language. We gave her all the crap in the world for taking all of that stuff in. And I also want to address another thing was the comments that Julie Schofield made towards my mother was very disrespectful. She would make little comments about how my mom was trashy, about how my mom treated her kids, about everything. And one day we were all sitting outside and they were cleaning up. They were doing their process. We weren't hassling the workers. We weren't doing anything. I don't know if that's in there, if they were saying we were hassling the workers, anything like that. She sat there and laughed at my mother while my mom was having, I don't want to say a mental breakdown, but just like the feeling of letting things go. And she sat there and laughed at my mom, looked her in her eyes and said that it was my mom's fault that everything happened. That everything happened. And honestly, I sat there and I looked her in her eyes and I told her, don't talk to people like that. But the fact that she came into our home when she was only there to clean up and she, I don't know the word, but she talked badly to my mom. And it was the rudest thing that I'd ever seen towards my mom. I have never seen my mom cry. I have never seen anything with my mom. And the way that she talked to my mom was, I don't think that if there is another abatement and you guys do come back, do not let her come back to our house.
I'm sorry, your first name again?
My name is Faith Erickson.
Faith, thank you very much. If you could, we understand it's a very emotional thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And we appreciate those comments, but if you could just wrap it up now.
Yeah.
We're going to get to deliberation part.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair,
Dr. Miller?
as emotional as these issues tend to be, the fact is that unless there is a material error on the part of the hearing officer, which there does not appear to be, we really do not have grounds to grant the appeal. Therefore, I would move that we reject the appeal as presented.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. And I'm going to ask if there is any discussion on the motion and second from any of our board members. Okay, hearing none, we're going to do a roll call vote. The motion is to deny the appeal, reject the appeal. And I am going to start with Board Member Siegel.
Thank you, Chairman Confort. I would start by saying my condolences to the family and all they're going through, but unfortunately, I don't see any error with the notice, and move to deny the appeal.
Okay.
Excuse me, vote in favor of denying the appeal.
Thank you. And I'm just going to start at the left, and we're going to go right through the board. Board Member Morrow.
I'm getting a blinking green light.
Where's the one with the little face?
Yeah, I'm getting green. That's what the blinking green light is.
Oh.
Well, I had some other comments, but I'll vote aye.
Or aye. Board Member Kege.
I vote aye.
Okay. Board Member Miller.
I vote aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So the motion to deny the appeal is unanimous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 0. That will conclude the appeal portion of our meeting. Let me get back to my agenda, please.
Mr. Vice Chairman, just to make a correction, there's a total of 6 board members here this evening. I believe you just said 7.
1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much, Michelle. You have found the errors my way. That is correct. So the final vote is 6 to 0 unanimous. I counted incorrectly. Mr. Jordan, the board staff will send you a notice of our decision. It's expected to be coming probably by regular mail and email. You heard the staff's discussion earlier about their time frame for the abatement. I am very sincere and hopeful that you can get taken care of what needs to get done between now and then, and you won't have to worry about the city and paying that abatement fee. Thank you very much for coming down tonight and all the testimony. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me get back to my agenda. Are there any staff updates? I have no staff updates. Are there any updates from Michelle, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. I just wanted to mention there will be no Board of Adjustment meeting in December, but there will be one on January 24th. And I also wanted to mention that although Chair Watson was not able to make it tonight, he is completing his second term the end of this year. So he will no longer be on the board. And I just wanted to publicly thank him, even though he's not here, but it's on the record, thank him for his service. And we will reach out to him before the end of the year and thank him that way as well.
Very good. Jeff, do you have anything for the good of the order? Anybody else? Jennifer, staff? I don't see a call to public on the agenda. Do we need to do a call to public at the end of the meeting? Is that normal course for the city or just,
For the Board of Adjustment items, it's not typically what we have on the agenda.
very good. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All second.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.